Welcome back, everybody. So I'm super excited about today because we are trying a new lure. Lately, we have absolutely hammered them on the jackhammer. So what time, a better time to go ahead and try a new bladed jig than now? So I ended up picking up a couple of these I-Vibes, which for the most part are a double bladed vibrating jig. So I don't know if they're going to have more kick necessarily than a jackhammer. I guess in theory you would think so, but I guess we'll have to get out there and see. I've already got one all rigged up. So this is kind of what it looks like. It looks wonky, but I guess until we fish it, I guess we don't really know. So we were at the pond that dreams are made of because we try everything new here because there's tons of fish here and they always bite. So if we can't catch a fish here, trying other places usually isn't the best of ideas, but nevertheless, let's get after it. It's pretty windy out, but let's see if we can't get into a couple fish. All right, let's see what we got going on here. It's kind of weird because the way that it's packaged, like the blades are opposite each other, and maybe one throws water onto the other one and it kind of gives it a little more erratic action, I guess, maybe. So it does vibrate. The first one, blade obviously goes crazy, and the back one kind of looks more like a jackhammer, like side-to-side action. So let's see. Can we get one on the first cast? Okay. So interesting. So it does start up right away, but it isn't very consistent. So I would assume this has a little bit more of a hunting action, because I feel like at some point in time the blades, I feel like it kind of glides a little bit occasionally. Yeah, we'll have solid vibration for a little bit, and then it'll end up kind of gliding or stopping, and I assume that it's probably hunting when it does that. Yeah, so interesting. So it will definitely go and vibrate, and then every once in a while it just kind of like veer off to one side, and then it'll pick up vibrating again. Interesting. It's not a very hard thump, I guess, as compared to like a jackhammer or anything else like that. And I guess whenever it stops vibrating and catches water, it kind of elevates in the water column, comes up to the surface a little bit more. Like right now, like she's right underneath the surface. Interesting. Well, we'll throw this for a little while, see if we can't catch a couple fish or have at least a couple bites. And if not, we'll come back through with a jackhammer and see if we end up with more fish. Let's see if we can't show kind of what it looks like in the water. Yeah, it's got an interesting action, but obviously that doesn't do it the greatest justice. But let's get out and see if we can't catch a couple. All right, we walked the whole bank and did not have a bite. So, which is kind of odd, because even if a bait wasn't great, I would still imagine we'd have at least a bite or two. So maybe it's just an awful day. But we've got a jackhammer on now, black with the same color trailer as the one that we use for the I-Vibe. So as close as we possibly can get to like a 1-to-1. So let's see if we can't end up with a couple fish at all today. Maybe it's just a bad day. Oh, I saw one chase it. So that does not bode well for the I-Vibe, but I just watched one chase it in. So maybe we'll end up with a fish. he came charging in again. Sitting just off this sand bank. There's one. Little guy. That's the smallest of all the ones I saw. So there's a bunch of them right here, and we threw in here first with the other one and didn't have any bites, so there's the first one, tiny one. Yeah, the other ones were much bigger. There's one. Come on, buddy. Oh, come on down. Didn't eat it all that great. Just kind of a lush bite. It's real cold out here though. There's one. Oh, barely. Just barely. Another small one. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a convincing decision so far. We've only caught two, but 2-0. Starting to get on a bit of a trend there. But we haven't caught very much at all today. I went back the exact same track. Throwing the jackhammer as I did throw the I-Vibe, and we only had 2 bites so far, both on the jackhammer. So we'll throw this for a little bit more, but we might have to come out one more day where we got a little bit nicer weather to see if we truly can't catch fish on the I-Vibe, or if it was just a unfair comparison, I guess, today. Welcome back, everybody. So we are on day 2 of fishing with the I-Vibe. Again, it's a double-bladed vibrating jig. Decided to throw on the white today. I do have a white jackhammer to use as, I guess, a comparison for the most part, but we're out at a spot that typically has a little bit larger of fish. I don't know if it matters as much, or if it, the fish seem to care, but I guess with it being 2 blades, it might look like a bigger profile bait, which obviously might make some of the smaller fish at that other pond a little bit more skittish. So we're giving it a chance at a different place. Hopefully we end up with a few fish. There should be some decent sized bass. There's always the chance at pike, even though we're not trying to catch them, but we can't stop them from biting. So let's get after it. There's a ton of moving water today. I feel like there are going to be fish sitting in here. You can see it so well in this tannic water, but again, I think the first blade just kind of pushes water and ends up hitting the second blade a little bit differently occasionally, and it just makes it kind of hunt a little bit more, almost glides. So you'll have like some of that vibration, and then all of a sudden it'll just stop and kind of like veer off on one side. So whether that's good or not, I don't really know, but we haven't had a fish bite yet, so that's definitely not good. Got one. Don't know if that was actually the bait or just the fact that it hit the water and a fish bit it. But that is our first fish on the I-Vibe. Get in here, buddy. Not a bad one. It's got a tiny mouth. I think that fish probably would have eaten anything that hit right there, but that's our first fish. Count it. See if we can't catch some more. Oh, that's gotta be a pike. Smoked it though. Yeah, little pike. Holy cow. Tiny pike. He hit it like crazy though. Don't freak out. There we go. Well, that's our second one. Oh, he got bit of that. You got to hook twice. I have to get the pliers out. Get a hold of the plastic too. There we go. Second one, tiny little guy. Holy cow, that's one of the smallest pike I've caught in a long time. Did not get our line though. So we'll keep fishing. All right, throw in the jackhammer. See if we can't get a couple bites on this. No bites at the little pond with the I-Vibe. Oh, there's one. He ate the entire chatterbait. Little tiny little fish. How'd you get that entire thing down there? That's crazy. I mean, it's at least a third, if not half, as big as he is. That's crazy. There's one. That was a mush bite. Gonna stay on. Come on, buddy. Not a big one. Longer, but thin and light. You need to be eating. Paper thin. Ugh. You need to feed up a little bit more. Went right underneath the tree stump. You kind of see his tail down there. Come out of there, you're just sitting there. Get on out of there, buddy. There he goes. A little discombobulated for a second. All right. Again, at the mini pond, the jackhammer is out producing, but in all honesty, I don't think the I-Vibe is a bad thing. It definitely hunts. And if that's what the action you're going for, I mean, hunts better than almost any vibrating jig I have. Oh, there's, oh, had another one. Almost any vibrating jig I've ever used. But as far as like consistent, just thumping action, I did not use a big trailer on it. If you would have put on a big paddle tail or something like that, or even a craw, it might have had enough resistance to just stay very consistent and thump insanely hard. But I did not do that, so I don't think I would have caught any fish throwing that today. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind using it again and being able to put a big trailer on the back of it and see if it elicits any more bites. But I think pike would absolutely love the thing. We did catch one bass that hit as soon as the bait touched the water, so I don't know that that was necessarily the bait doing much of anything, more the fish just reacting. But not an awful lure, I don't think. I would like to use it a lot more and see how it goes, you know, further in the summer, and being able to try out different trailers on it and whatnot. There's one. Jesus. Little one. Instantly. Jinx that one on camera. That's a better fish. Never mind. Same. Another little one. that's about it for today. Another lake where we didn't end up catching anything on the I-Vibe, but we caught a couple small ones on the jackhammer. I guess overall impression of the I-Vibe, I mean, I think it's like a lot of vibrating jigs. They all have their place and time for, you know, depending on what you got going on as to whether it'll produce or not. And I think for some of my lakes that have bigger pike in them, I think this would potentially be better. First of all, it's a little bit cheaper than a jackhammer, so if you lose it, it doesn't hurt quite as much. But I think it would be really interesting to try with a much larger trailer on there, like a much larger paddle tail or something like that, because I think it would just throw off an absolute ridiculous amount of vibration. And it's got a little bit bigger of a profile, so for those pike and whatnot, might not be a bad idea. Overall, favorite's still going to be the jackhammer. No matter which one I try, I still like that one by far the best, and it always seems to produce the most. So whether it be numbers, because that's clearly what happened, you know, the past couple days, a lot of small fish, but it gets big ones too. I've caught plenty of 5+ pounders on a jackhammer. But nevertheless, again, if you guys like the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, and as always, if you want to see more videos like it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be greatly appreciated also. Till the next one.